Well, Tom, the shots were falling. Saturday night or Upper Arena, they finished 13 of 25 from three, shoot over 50%. Really the best game they played all season long outside of the one in Madison Square Garden. I think people want to know, can they replicate anything like this in the remaining 10 games? Are we making too much out of that emotional win, or is this something that Arkansas you could foresee them doing in a few other games this season?
Yeah, good morning, guys. That's a great question. I have so many thoughts, so many observations based on what y'all were saying. Did you see the post game when I think it was Alyssa Lang was trying to talk to Cal right after the game, and Billy Richmond was woofing, leaving the court, and he's answering the question. And he goes, Billy, stop that. That was pretty funny. Mm-hmm. But that's the question of the day. Can they regenerate what we saw in Rupp? Obviously, there was a lot of emotion and intensity based on that game. But if you'll remember, on Thursday, I was talking to you guys about how Arkansas had to draw Kentucky into their half-court style. That was so wrong. They threw those full-length passes and got dunks and opened things up with that.
18 to 5 in fast break points, Tom. That is not the stat that I expected Arkansas to win.
To me, that was the stat of the game, because I guess Kentucky's guards just drifted toward offensive rebounding too much, and Arkansas saw that in the scout, and Knox was getting the runouts and dunks, and that steal by Richmond just past half court and dunk that made it 20-20, one of the biggest plays of the game, and it's like a eureka moment. Oh, we can get out on the break. And other than John L. Davis's that 2-on-1 that he kind of blew, they really capitalized in the open court, and maybe that's something that they can utilize going forward.
Yeah, I saw Lamont Butler, their starting point guard, who didn't play the Arkansas game. I think he's out tonight as well. They really missed him. And I bring up point guard play because I think DJ Wagner is listen. He's not going to be this All-American at that position that he hasn't played the majority of the season. But Tom, he's kind of been steady Eddie in these last three games. 12, 4, and 3, I think. Really stepped up in Boogie's absence.
Big time. He went over 5 in the first half, but had 6 assists. But you can see the incremental improvement from the first game without Boogie to this game. He's more confident running the point. He certainly, was motivated against Kentucky on Saturday. But his drives to the basket in the second half, and Cal said on his radio show last night, basically went and got us a bucket anytime he wanted. That was huge. His reverse with Williams, he had been blocking some stuff down there, but he had a really huge reverse kind of late in the game that was a really big shot. So I just think that he's growing into the position more. He did it with Kentucky quite a bit last year, and he's just got a physicality about him. Not every time he drives and gets bumped does it get called, but he draws a lot of fouls that way. And if you heard Cal on his radio show last night, he was talking about how the way they ran their offense, they grinded it. They just made Kentucky work defensively. And there were so many games earlier this season where they weren't making – you think about like the Ole Miss game. They just weren't making Ole Miss work defensively. Now they are. And to me, if they're going to turn their season around, if they operate more efficiently that way, that's the key.
The recent trend, Tom, I think there's 9 3-pointers against Oklahoma in a loss, 13 against Kentucky. Free throw shooting percentages have been at or around 80 or better the last few games. Is this a trend we can count on, or is this maybe just a peak in some inconsistent play?
Well, I mean, John L. Davis was the key. He hit the first 3 of the game, mm-hmm. and Zonomer hit 1, and then they were just off and running at that point. But I think they've unlocked some things. I think Davis's confidence now, the way they the way they ran their half-court offense was just so much better tempo. And then other things have sprung from that. Thero's drives to the basket the other day were right. Big. He drew so many fouls. So I just think they unlocked some things. Yeah. They know that they have better offensive potential now.
Yeah, Thiero fouled 7 times. He had 12 of Arkansas' 16 total free throw attempts in the ball game. So looking ahead at this week, you follow Kentucky with Texas, and then you get Alabama. What a stretch. Kentucky, Texas, Alabama. The Texas game is on the road. I contend this is the game you really got to win. You got to split this week somehow. If you can win at Austin, not only does it take the pressure off Saturday, Tom, but I think it will fill Bud Walton Arena on Saturday night when the Crimson Tide come in. I think this is a big week and a huge opportunity down at the Moody Center.
It really is. I mean, the odds are against them. Texas is playing good basketball right now.
Mm-hmm.
They had a huge comeback a week or two ago to beat A&M, just a stunner. And then they blew LSU's doors off. They're playing well. They have confidence. But you're right. If Arkansas were to back-to-back do the Cal homecoming win and then take down your longtime rival heading into the Bama game, that would be huge. Bama number 3 in the country right now. It's unrelenting, though. The schedule is unbelievably unrelenting when you just look at all the net rankings and everything that has played into this. Texas is a very strong team, but I think we're going to see a pretty high-quality showdown.
I think they've won 3 or 4 to your point, Tom. So, yeah, they're playing a lot better than they were initially under Rodney Terry at the beginning of conference play. Tom Murphy with us, Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Tremont Mark here last year. You mentioned the A&M game. He was the one that hit that game winner in Bud Walton. Hit it, I think, in the Moody Center earlier this year. What do you think about that dynamic going up against, I guess, one former teammate in Trevor Brazile and Arkansas tomorrow?
Well, certainly a component to the game. Not that only Trevor Brazile is the only guy I played against or played with him, but he's a left-handed driver. He's a guy who they had a shot really late against Ole Miss that could have tied the game, I think, and Trey Johnson took it instead of Mark, who had just made the game winner. So he's got a reputation. He's certainly not going to be, he's going to be ready to play the Razorbacks in the way that Thero, Zvonimir, and Wagner were on Saturday.
And you referenced Trey Johnson. Trey's their freshman All-American point guard, tons of accolades coming into school. He's probably going to be the biggest issue, I would guess, tomorrow night, Tom.
Big time with that three-point shooting, and he really is one of those kind of no-conscience guys. He'll take a 25-footer like Missouri's Caleb Grill will do.
Mm-hmm.
He had a horrible shooting half against A&M. They were down 22 points in that game. And I was thinking, why is this kid just – is he a freshman and I'm going to keep shooting? Well, he did, and he got hot, and he scored 30, I believe, in that game, and it led to the comeback. So he's the leading scorer in the SEC. I think he's at 20 points a game. Pretty phenomenal. He's going to be a really tough guard.
How has the win on Saturday night changed your outlook or perspective on postseason, or has it at all?
Yeah, I still think, they're on the wrong side of the bubble. They'd be the 13th or 14th team in the SEC at this stage. They just got to do some more winning. I mean, you beat Texas and come home and beat Bama, I think you're on the other side of it, to be honest.
Lenardi's got them at like the second 4 out. I saw that on Twitter. I think it was from yesterday. So still outside looking in. We'll see if they bounce back at this point. So, Tom, when are you, I guess to Tommy's question, like what would it take for you to believe that, hey, this team is headed towards a tournament? I mean, is it a win tomorrow night? Is it a win Saturday? When would you maybe kind of change your tune on, hey, this team's NCAA tournament post-Nashville bound?
Well, the problem being you have 10 games left. So, I mean, if you lose both of these, you got 8 games left, and you're what, 6 games under 500. It's just a long, long way back. So I think you need to win one of these two, and if you sweep, you're starting to look a lot better, and it's a confidence thing. To me, it's the shooting. I think they feel better about, like I said, unlocking things offensively. And if they can shoot 45 to 50% in these coming games, they're going to give themselves a chance to win. They're actually playing fairly good defense, and the rebounding has improved too. So, man, Sly Cal, who would have thought they'd go into Rupp and win? And they did that, and they just look like a new team. At halftime you're like, can they keep this up in the second half? They did it. They played better in the second half. They were a better team in the second half.
Tom, we'll leave it there, man. Appreciate the stuff. We'll chat Thursday about this Texas game, and we'll see what happens Saturday in Bud Walton Arena against the Crimson Tide.
Outstanding. Later.
BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball to NHL and UFC. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use the promo code BELIEVE for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.